Happy Wednesday. It's Wellness Wednesday, and we have a special live tonight. But before I explain what the live is tonight, hello, Alex. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everybody who's choosing to watch this, whether you are in the comment section or just hanging out in the background, watching, supporting, holding space. Welcome, Jen. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I love it
How
here.
are you today?
I'm good. I'm
Awesome.
excited.
So,
I'm really excited for tonight. This is going to be.
I just got like 1,000 times more nervous, actually. So,
I know. I kind of had that little. Oop.
I know. I was like, big breaths. So the reason I'm having to take some big breaths, and along with Jen here, is today is a live hypnosis soul regression show. So tonight we are going to go into hypnosis. We're going to walk you through the entire process, and we're going to show you, demo to you what a real session looks like. I am going to be the client today, and Jen is going to be the hypnotherapist. And we are going to be working on a part of myself that I have a pattern, a reoccurring pattern. And as you all know, we all have them. We all have these themes that come forward. This is one that, hey, Adriana, that is a big one for me. And
Yeah.
I had this glimmering idea that this would be really cool to share with the world and to put it out there so that everyone can see what this process looks like from start to finish, so that maybe this will begin to break down some of the barriers that social media and the media in general, or past myths and perceptions of what hypnosis is, down. And that is my mission in this show. Absolutely. Is to help break that down, because I love this process. As all of you know, this process has been more than life-changing for me. First off, personally, in my own healing journey and my recovering my sight, improving my kidney health, and just really dealing with chronic pain and old soul connections, past life, karmic, everything. But also personally, because I found something I adore. Like, I adore what I do.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, I'm so glad you're excited, actually.
I personally feel that it's part of our responsibility as hypnotherapists to educate others, because there's so much misinformation out there, so much of the mystique, right? Like,
yeah, it's one of the biggest myths that I get is that it's mind control, and that somebody's going to take a deep dive into your inner self. Either you're going to be forced, quote unquote, to share your deep, dark secrets, or they're going to implant ideas and thoughts that are against your free will and your core values. And we all know, who are in the industry, and all of us who have experienced this process, not a chance, not even close, not even possible.
Your PIN numbers are safe. Your banking PIN numbers are safe. Trust me, they're safe.
But if you feel like sharing the lotto numbers, I'd be greatly appreciated. I need to build a bigger center. Just putting that out there, guys. We would like to build a huge wellness center. Not that you have to win the lottery to do that, but I'm just saying.
No.
So if you can pull this out of my head, then feel free. I give a full. But
lottery.
When we talk about, right. Let's add that plug in there. When we talk about your core values, we can talk about the very core of you that is a non-negotiable change unless you choose to change it. And most of us, our core values line up with who we want to be and who we're striving to be. So there is no shifting that. That being said, because tonight is a live session, and we are going to be working through some deep-seated reoccurring patterns. I'm going to ask all of you who, at this point, if you're here, to be here to, bring that positive energy. For those of you who this is not up your alley, you're not really sure about this, you know what? Maybe tonight's not your show. And if you feel, if it resonates with you, please stay and watch. For those of you during this process, I know questions arise. So I've been doing enough hypnotherapy that if you ask questions, please put them in the comment box. Jen's going to also use this as a teacher. We're going to use this as a teaching, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Pausing to answer a question isn't going to interrupt my flow, just because I've done this for so long. But if there's anything negative that you feel you need to express about this process, I would ask you to please contact me privately, or Jen privately, to ask those questions and to leave that negativity at the door. It's I understand it's a very, I don't know if this has been done before where it's done live. So
It's hard to find. It's hard to find them online. If you're looking for sessions of parts or whatever. Is my volume okay?
Yeah, your volume is perfect. So, and those of you who are choosing to follow along, Jenn has a little message for you.
Yes. So if you're listening, please be seated. Don't do this don't listen while you're driving, whether this is live or recorded. Anything that needs your attention, because it's a pretty strong relaxation situation. So yeah, that's just like any recording, any meditation or anything like that. Don't be doing anything that you need to focus on.
So no heavy machinery, no cooking. Exactly. No doing anything that requires your attention, because even though this is a session for me and we're sharing it with you, this deep relaxation and the tone of the voice that is going to be utilized and the rhythm that we're going to take and the direction that we're going to be giving and going the process that we're going to can, if you so choose, can deepen and relax you too. So if you find yourself dropping in and you don't want to drop into that space of trance, just count yourself up from 1 to 5, take a deep breath, and set that intention that you're not going to drop in with me for the relaxation part. And then when it gets to the parts therapy, we're just going to ask everybody energetically just to stay with us instead of going on the journey in that sense with me, unless because I can go where I need to go, and if I need to do something, I've been trained well enough to do it. So we don't want you guys getting into an emotional spot and kind of getting stuck there without our ability to help you one-on-one or in our private group sessions. So I think that's all the disclaimers for tonight. I hope I hit every disclaimer. And like I said, you guys got questions, ask away. We love those questions. Jenn can answer them during the process, or we can, if you want to, we will have a little debrief after. And then for those of you, Friday morning, Coffee with Jenn, we're going to be talking about this whole session and what it meant to me. So we'll debrief on Friday as well. So, all right. I'm going to hand the reins over, and I'm going to set into I don't know, I'm not very good at stepping into just being the client, but I'm going to do my best. So here we go.
I get to be the bossy one here.
I know, it's so fun, not? Yes?
Yeah, no. What was I going to say?
We didn't talk about me throwing the reins at you, did we?
I was going to say something. My focus will be on Jenn, absolutely. So, but I will address the questions if it's convenient or appropriate at that time. So just wanted to put that out there too. If I don't answer your question, it's not that it's that I'm ignoring you, but I'm focusing on Jenn more than anything. So, all right. So
and normally you would do this in a recliner or on a massage table or something along those lines. I meditate in this chair all the time, so that's why instead of setting up my room in a different way, we're going to do it like this. So don't think that you have to be uncomfortable while you do this in your own sessions or your group sessions. I would suggest finding your comfortable spot. So just in case you were wondering why I'm sitting so upright.
Jen's pretty good. I think she could stand on one leg and meditate and do.
I do, actually.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
All right. So what we are doing today is what's called a parts session. So I think I talked briefly before about what parts is, but generally speaking, if you've ever said something like, there's a part of me that thinks, the weather's so nice, which I should really just go for a walk, enjoy the weather, but there's another part of me that's like, it's so hot, you just don't want to be outside. And those two parts are kind of conflicting. We can actually talk to those parts. We can pull those individual parts out and speak with them. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk to a part of Jenn that she would like to work on. Jenn has previously identified the part that she wants to work on. Typically with a client, we would have some discussion about what that part is, what the issues are around it, and then we would narrow down the name or the language, the phrase that will call that specific part out. So what Jenn is looking for is the part of Jenn that holds on to people and things that no longer serve her.
Oh my God, it just makes me nervous. I can feel where it sits in my stomach. So the one thing I thought For me, when I do parts, and I'm going to put this out there so it doesn't throw anybody off, but sometimes my tone of voice, my facial expressions will shift, because when we pull a piece of our identity out, that identity has a personality. It has it has a name, a title for the purpose and job it does. So I sometimes, more than not, maybe tonight will be different because this is a very different setting for me, but usually you will see the difference, and I refer to myself in a third person. So that is kind of our indication when we know a piece. You know what? I totally feel Leslie right now because I can see purple everywhere. So this is funny because I'm getting all hot. I'm going to get yeah, no wig in the finger, lady. Make sure I now explain this perfectly. Where's the manual? No, just kidding. And so that is one thing to know, like you may notice throughout this process, is that when we're connecting with that part, that I will be in a third person space. And it's not because I have multiple personalities, somebody said. It's just that you have 1,000 different pieces of you that make up your whole, that integrate you as a whole being, and we're going to pick out one little or two little pieces of that and communicate with that so it can give its information. It can tell us the who, what, where, and why. And then if needed, off we go to the origins, the root cause, where we can resolve and shift the story and change the emotions around that moment and create the healing. So I just figured I'd put that disclaimer out there too. I forgot about that in the beginning, is that you may see some facial changes, and I'm not possessed. I promise you that. No. Or my tone may get different. Sometimes, it can be very masculine, it can be very feminine, it can be very soft and mouse. You never know.
Depends on what's going on and the specific personality of that particular part. So just something to be aware of as for Jenn. I'm not going to give away any of your secrets, Jenn, but just for people to be what to experience or what to expect, I guess, for Jenn is that her sessions tend to be quite spiritual. So there may be some of that.
Yeah. So that, again, if that does not resonate with you.
Yeah. She'll sometimes channel, which if you've worked with her before, the change of tone of her voice and the language changes a little bit than what she would normally use. So that might happen. So we'll see.
Perfect. Well, I can already tell this is like third eye root chakra, little sacral there. I can see the colors happening already as we're talking. So this will be really interesting, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be boring. This could be my first boring one.
It's never boring with you. It's never boring with you. It's always good.
So could be textbook.
It could be, but I don't expect that. You never know. So I'm going to do what a relatively quick but typical type of induction or process for getting Jenn into hypnosis. She goes in quickly and she goes in deeply. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but it'll be a relatively typical session for this kind of thing for what we would do with our clients. With other clients, I might spend a little bit more time at this point, but Jenn doesn't need it.
Well, so tonight we might want to add a little just because of the nerves.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I'm already half there.
Exactly.
All right.
This part knows it's coming. So.
Oh, it's been a while. We've been talking about this for a month. I have been putting this out there for a month. So let's do this.
Do I have your permission to hypnotize you today, Jenn?
Absolutely.
All right. When you're ready, closing your eyes and taking a couple more of those nice, easy breaths. Slowing things down with your breath. The cool air in and the warm air out. Cool air in and the warm air out. And as you're bringing in that cool air, as you're letting go of that warm air, I'm creating space, getting prepared for the changes that you're making tonight. Cool air in and warm air out. And as you're gently breathing, slowing everything down, I'd like you to become aware of any sounds that might be making their way through your headset. You may hear sounds in your own space, the pets, other people, nature sounds from outside, noises from inside of appliances, and noises on my end, me taking a drink of water or shuffling paper, writing things down. My cat's around here somewhere. She likes to put her 2 cents in. She may have an opinion on what's going on, so she might be here too. But you know how to use those sounds to take you into a deeper space of peace and calm. Any sound that you do experience or hear, whether you're aware of what it is or it's an unexpected sound, you know how to use it to guide you deeper down into the hypnosis. I'd like you to focus now for a moment on that space within you. A space that we sometimes call the center core. I know you like to refer to it as your home base. I'd like you to focus on that space now for a moment. And I'd like you to bring any energy that you might have used today, preparing for this, just going about your day, discussions with other people, anything that you might have used energy on today. I'd like you to go ahead and bring all that energy back to you, back where it belongs, back in your physical self. Drawing all that energy back to your center core. And once all that energy's back to you, if you wouldn't mind just giving me a little nod to let me know it's there. You've completed that. Great. Thank you. And so now we have a tendency to spend a lot of time outside our physical body, so I'd like to bring you back into your physical body. And so I'd like you to focus on that center core for a moment, and I'd like you to imagine or see yourself or pretend that you could drift forward to the wall in front of you, out of that physical body and towards the wall in front of you. And then gently and easily coming back and settling back into that center core. Focusing back again on that center core within your physical self, into that home base, whatever home base looks like for you. And then again, I'd like you to imagine or see or pretend drifting out of that home base and heading to the wall behind you. Back to the wall behind you. And then gently, easily, and slowly coming back again. Settling down, 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 deep down into that center core, that home base. And each time you come back to your physical self, settling twice as deep down into that space. Deep in, deep down. And now, if you will, please imagine, see, or pretend yourself drifting out of that physical self again and heading over to the wall on your right. And then back again. Back and down, down, down. Deep within. That beautiful, amazing space within that is always there. Always waiting for you. Always available to you. And now, if you will, please imagine, see, or sense yourself drifting over to the wall on your left. Out of that center core and over to the wall on your left. And then back again. Back and down, down, deep within. Back into that center core, that safe, secure, amazing space within. And then from that center core again, drifting out and just checking out the floor beneath you and the chair that you're sitting in, and just seeing how sturdy and supported you are. How well supported you are. And then back again, back into that home base. And then one last time now, this time floating up and out, drifting up, 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 all the way up to the ceiling or beyond if you'd like, up into the sky. As far as you'd like to go, just drifting, floating, weightless and free. Drifting, drifting. And then slowly and gently floating back down, just like a feather. A feather playing on the breeze, playing on the air currents, just drifting down and down and down and down. Down, 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 deep down into that center core again. Focusing deep down, deep into that center core. Beautiful. And just resting all snuggled deep down within to that home base, that perfect place within. And as you're resting there, letting your breath guide you again, I'm going to count from 5 down to 1, and with each number I say, snap my fingers and also say deep, and with each number, each snap, each word deep, I'd like you to guide yourself in a little further in, a little further down. So 5, drifting deeper and deeper down, deeper in, deeper down, deep. 4, sinking further and further into that peace and calm deep within. Muscles all letting go and physical self relaxing deep. 3, further and further, deeper and deeper, down. 2, sinking into the peace, sinking into that space within, deep. And 1, deep down, deep within. Now I'd like you to find yourself in a wonderful wooded area. Trees all around you, the sun shining on you. Coming up to a beautiful little river just burbling along, and you're going to notice that there's a footbridge, a bridge that takes you across that river. And this bridge represents the bridge between your outer world and your inner world. This bridge will guide you. Each step takes you deeper into that inner world, where your answers are, where the work that you're wanting to do can be done, deep within your subconscious mind. And I'd like you to know before you take a step onto this bridge that there's no limit to the number of steps that you need to take. You'll take the perfect number of steps. Each step you take across this bridge will guide you deeper down. And when you reach the other side of the bridge, you'll be in that perfect space to do the work that you'd like to do today. So when you're ready, go ahead and take a step onto that bridge. Each step guiding you deeper and deeper within, deeper and deeper down. As many steps as you need. That space across the other side of the bridge. Space where you're ready. The answers are. And when you get to the other side of the bridge, just let me know when you're there. As much time as you need. As many steps, each step grounding you deeper and deeper. taking you closer and closer. All right. Thank you. And it's at this point that I'd like to state, for those of you who have been following along with my words and maybe taking part, these next steps are for Jenn and Jenn alone. If you'd like to continue experiencing the peace and the relaxation, I encourage you to just let any messages, images, awareness come to you. You may simply become aware of these messages, images, and awareness, and I invite you to make note of them, remembering them when you're no longer in hypnosis. And for those of you who would like to tune into what Jenn is going to be doing now, when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes, fully immersed, while Jenn continues to drift deeper and deeper into the peace and the calm. And so, Jenn, I wonder if you can tell me where you are. What are you aware of?
I'm in purple light. Just energy.
Okay.
It's very warm. There's lots of emotion.
Okay. Are you ready to call that part forward?
There's a lot of nervous energy in this.
Okay.
But when you're ready, go ahead.
All right. I'd like to speak with Jenn's subconscious mind and her subconscious mind only. I'd like to speak with that part of Jenn that holds on to people and things that no longer serve her. I'd like that part to please come forward and be here now. Let me know that you're here, please, part, by saying I'm here.
Here.
Thank you very much for coming forward. Now, I'm wondering if there's a name or a title that I can refer to you as. What can I call you?
Spaces.
Spaces.
Yes.
All right, Spaces. Thank you very much. Can you tell me what it is that you do for Jenn?
I make it difficult to let go of things. I fill the spaces with things.
What kind of things?
A fear of loss. There has been a lot of loss.
Yep. And why do you do this?
Because emotions overwhelm her.
Right. So, because
Her
emotions
intuition overwhelms her. Which is tied to emotions. So if there's nothing new, the overwhelm is manageable.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, what else is it that you do for Jenn?
I Keep her tied to things.
Okay.
I create pressure in her third eye.
Why is that? Why there specifically?
To keep it manageable.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this for, Jenn?
Lifetimes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you working for Jenn's highest good?
I'm working for Jenn.
In her highest good?
She created me.
Okay. Do you have her best interests at heart?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Spaces, what I'd like you to do now, please, is take us back to the very first time that you came into being for Jenn. The very first time that you came into being for Jenn. No time, no space, no limits. To the very first time you came into being for Jenn, and be there now, please. All the way back. Time, no space, no thought. And Jenn, when you're ready, just let me know what you become aware of, please.
Fire.
Where's the fire?
In front of me.
Okay. What's happening?
The forest is on fire.
Forest. Okay.
And the village is on fire. Everything's engulfed.
And what are you doing?
I'm standing bare feet. I'm stuck. Almost like paralyzed, like I can't move.
What are you feeling?
Shock. I want to cry, but I don't even know if I have enough tears to do so.
What is the cause of this fire?
Me.
You.
Yes.
Can you explain?
I have a connection to the element of fire.
Okay.
I lost my temper. I didn't mean to do it.
Mm-hmm. What else are you aware of?
I think I'm about 13 years old in age.
Okay. Can you describe yourself to me?
I have long blonde hair. I have 3 sisters.
Okay.
I feel like there's only my mother in the picture. I don't know where my father is. I only feel the presence of a maternal figure.
Okay.
Something tells me we work with the elements.
Mm-hmm.
As if like and work with plants.
You and your family?
Yes.
Okay. And so, how did this fire come about?
I was fighting with my sisters over something very petty.
Mm-hmm.
I have an issue with my rage in this life. I lose my temper. I don't mean for it to happen. It's just like it comes over me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do they call you?
Sasha.
Okay.
But that's the translation. I don't know the other. I don't know what the language is.
Okay.
I can't place it in this time.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I know this is the life where I bound everything. So just a heads up.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I lost my dad in that life.
So
when I was 3 years old.
Okay. Let's go back to that time when you were 3 years old. And be there now, please. Back to 3 years old. What's happening?
I went back to the moment my father was shot.
Okay. What was the situation? How did he end up being shot?
It feels like it was a mistake. A misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
He had a dispute with somebody or something in the village.
Okay.
I think it was over a cow. Like it was over ownership of some sort or something along those lines.
Okay. And what happened with you when you lost your father? What was the impact on you?
Devastation.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Mm-hmm.
All I remember is watching my mom cry over him because we were all there. We all witnessed it. It's almost like I can't breathe. I feel this tightening in my chest.
What else is important to know about that moment in time?
The tightening in my chest is like it's hurt, it's anger, it's sadness, it's rage. That was when I lost control of my emotions.
What happened when you lost control?
It was really interesting. It was just like that rage became a piece of its own. Like it just became a trigger happy almost. Like I could see this like fire being next to me.
Okay. Interesting.
And I know where it connects to this life, so I know where it got activated.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I gave away any sense of power to that fire. There's a lot of pressure in my head. I feel a lot of pressure there.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me more about the giving away your power to that fire being.
It's like it became me. It became all consuming. It became in control of my emotional state. So I went to the extreme, like that was the extreme of feeling emotions and then not feeling emotions. So there was no middle ground, there was no balance, there was no like.
Yeah.
Honestly, just like I'm seeing the whole life in a different perspective, but it was like my mom spent that whole life trying to help me tame that, to find balance, to find that harmony, but I wasn't really willing to do so.
Okay.
Because I was still mad, because there was no justice of it, no justice for my dad's passing, for the misunderstanding, for being shot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that time when you were 3 years old was when that fire being with the all-consuming emotions came into being, correct?
Yeah, it's like I created it out of myself.
Yeah.
So that I didn't have to process. Like it literally, like couldn't deal with it. So
Yeah.
it was easier to displace it than it was to contain it.
All right. Okay. Let's go to the next significant moment in that lifetime that is relevant to this. And let's go there now, please. The next significant event in that lifetime.
After the village burned, I ended up spending the rest of my life in hiding.
Okay.
I just withdrew. I'm pretty sure I lost everything that was important to me in that fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a cave. It's like very dingy. It's very like, I think I've just like taken myself out of any source of community whatsoever, and just literally surviving on how I know how to survive.
Okay.
I'm only like 15. Like I'm not old.
Mm-hmm. And how are you feeling about things there?
Numb. Just numb. It's too much. It's like being emotionless while being completely consumed by the emotions, like negativity, like just the blame, the guilt, the shame. My family died in that fire. Like it wasn't something small.
Yeah.
So not only did I leave myself with nothing, but carrying that burden. I just don't understand, like, what's the purpose of being so connected if all you do is destroy things?
What do you mean by that?
Being connected means destroying things. It means that I just don't understand, like, why like anyone wanted to be connected to anything beyond what.
What does being connected mean to you?
It means understanding how to work with energy, how to create energy out of thin air, like just to be able to like take what vibration into creation. In that timeline, that's how things are created through energy. It's very simple and very easy. But I view it as so dangerous and so it feels so out of control. I'm pretty sure this is the moment where I decided to bind everything so I no longer could feel.
Right.
And be connected. It's like a semblance of like self-destruction. But wherever we are, like I don't know, I can't tell you this is Earth, that's for sure, because I can't place a time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cut yourself off from energy, you cut yourself off from your life force, that the physical body and that incarnation doesn't exist, will wither away. And that's basically what happened.
Okay. So are you sort of viewing this lifetime?
I'm now above looking at it.
Right. Okay. So that lifetime has ended.
While I'm there, but I haven't gone through it.
Okay. Okay. So that 15-year-old.
It would have been like 16 when that when it ended, when that 15-year-old chose to like bind and cut off the connection to the vibrational elemental parts of that world, to that feed the life force energy that create a physical body or physical incarnation.
Okay.
So it's like stopping and stop, like not drinking or eating, but you don't really drink or eat, like it's energy.
Yeah.
That's why this timeline feels like it's not in a tangible presence of Earth, but it might be a different time of Earth.
Okay. Okay. So viewing that lifetime, what were you've talked about a number of important moments and important lessons. What else is there from that lifetime?
Self-imposed rejection.
Mm-hmm. What about that?
Well, rejecting my connection to life force, to universe, to life.
Yeah. And that was
like life-sustaining energy, like literally rejecting it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So looking at that lifetime, I'd like you to move past the moment of death, not lifetime. So can you confirm the cause of death?
Once you cut off the life force energy, the body just kind of withers away into nothing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is turn your back on that lifetime, moving forward as spirit. Heading towards the light. Can you describe that for me? What do you sense as what we would term as the light.
It's a warmth.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's like so bright. It's like this beam of like, for me, it's really pinkish white energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it reaches down for you. It's not just flat, it's like these rays of sun reaching for you.
Hmm.
But in each ray is like the spectrum of light.
Wow.
It's so comforting.
Well, that is your... Sorry, go ahead.
It's like a billion rainbows all stretching out. When you look at them more closely, like these lines of colors that mingle, creating the presence of this beautiful white pink light. It is soft, but it can be really like, yeah, really warm.
This sounds amazing. That is your goal, your point of where we're trying to get to.
There's nowhere else to go.
Yeah. But before getting there, I'd like to take you through some screens. And these screens, just for explanation, are energetic screens. They're, big, like as big as a patio door screen that you could move through. Energetic mesh. And what these screens do is they screen out anything that you don't need to bring forward into this lifetime. So as you move through these screens, they remove all the negativity, all the bad experiences, so that you don't return that to this lifetime or any other. So I'd like you to see a screen come up in front of you. Big, beautiful, energetic screen come up. And I'd like you to move through the screen, and I'd like you to leave behind on that screen the devastation that you felt, that sadness when you witnessed your father being shot. And you can leave it behind as you move through that screen. And if you need help moving through that screen, please let me know. Otherwise, just let me know when you do make it through.
I'm bringing that 3-year-old through so she no longer has to experience that.
Yeah. Good idea.
Because she represents innocence. I'm too.
Okay. So does moving through that screen allow that innocence to be returned to that 3-year-old?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'd like you to continue along, and I'd like you to see another screen come up on this screen. I'd like you to leave behind the physical sensations you felt at the witnessing of your father's murder. I
just need a moment.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Can you tell me what just happened?
Oh, well, when we were through the screens, just that light of innocence was returned.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, continuing along closer to the light, I'd like you to see another screen come up, and on this screen, I'd like you to leave behind the physical sensations when you when you witnessed your father being shot. The tightening in your chest, that hurt, that rage, that can't breathe, all the physical side of it. Leave that behind on the screen.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Well done. Now, moving forward, closer to that light, another screen comes up. And on this screen, I'd like you to leave behind that belief that there was no justice for your dad having been shot. The feelings around no justice for your dad.
Okay.
Great. Okay. So I'm getting to where I'd like you to, as we move through screens, I'd like you to leave behind the handing over of your power, the giving away of your power. So how would that best be worded in your view? As you move through, another screen comes up. And as you move through the screen, I'd like you to leave behind the need to give away your power. Would that be a good way to phrase it?
I'm going to leave behind the disconnect.
Mm-hmm. The disconnect.
And of my own emotions.
Okay.
And the separation from being accountable and responsible for them.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm through.
Okay. All right. All right. Moving forward, closer to that light. And I'd like you to see another screen come up. On this screen, I'd like you to leave behind those feelings, the sensations, as you were standing there watching your village burn, the forest fire around you. That feeling of stuck, can't move, that shock that you were responsible for all that devastation. Let me know when you're through or if you need any help.
I'm through.
Okay. Are you able to do this on your own, or are you calling in any help?
There's about 6 things happening all at once.
Yeah. Okay.
Each screen, that energy of fire, the element of fire is moving through, so that bond can be recreated in balance.
Okay. Good. Good.
And the souls that were a part of that journey and the incarnation are there as well.
All right. Thank you.
So a lot of forgiveness happening
Good.
with each screen.
Good. Good. All right. So moving forward, again, another screen comes up, and on this screen, I'd like you to leave behind the feelings as you were hiding in that cave, that sense of numb, no emotion at all, and yet overwhelming emotion. Too much emotion, and yet none. Leave that behind, please.
Okay.
Great. You're doing so well. These are big things to be leaving behind. Now, as you're moving through these screens, you said that your connection with that element, and are you talking about the element of fire? Any other elements? Any other elements?
They were all a part of us.
Yeah. And so you're creating a new connection with them? Reconnecting, I should say?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to leave behind that would help you to connect with?
The fear of loss and losing.
Yeah. All right.
And the outcome of loss.
Okay. Okay. So leave that behind in another screen, please. All behind.
Sure.
Great. What else?
The attachment to things.
Okay.
The attachment to holding on to things to fill the space and the void.
Right. Okay. So let's do that. Another screen coming up and leaving behind that attachment. Leaving it all behind. And as you leave it all behind, creating the ability to let things go.
Okay.
All right. All right. Now I'd like to activate some things for you. Ensure that your connection has been returned. So I'd like you to see a screen that is the reverse of what you've just been moving through. And these screens actually activate and infuse you with the abilities that you'd like to carry forward. So that connection to the elements. As you move through this next screen, I'd like you to allow that connection to be activated again. Your connection to the elements. The connection after having experienced what you experienced in that lifetime. The connection is one of balance.
I understand the purpose of that life. So, in understanding the purpose, I understand that the purpose I chose to incarnate was to actually experience loss. So the actions were not for naught. They were a part of the blueprint of that life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was karma being balanced between those two souls, and I chose to incarnate there so I could experience the other side of the loss.
Which two souls?
My father and the soul that had the dispute with.
Okay.
And their karma is balanced. Their connection is balanced. Their reasons are balanced, and they're not mine any longer.
Good. Good. All right. And
It's
how?
complete.
It's complete. Okay. Has your power been reclaimed
It was never gone. It was just bound.
All right. Has your power been unbound?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else that needs to be left behind in that lifetime?
The pain in my head.
Ah.
The pressure in my third eye that was created.
Right. Of course.
It's like unclogging.
All right. So see another screen, and as you go through the screen, leaving behind that physical sensation of that pain in your head, the clogging of your third eye, clear it right down to the cellular level.
So interesting going through the screen. I can see all the points in this incarnation where that was compounded. So that's going to take a minute to clear because there's so many parallels and experiences that my subconscious mind roped together as one.
Okay. Take as much time as you need.
Okay.
Anything else that you'd like to leave behind or clear?
No, I think that's complete.
Is there anything nice else that you would like to infuse through these screens? Activate.
No, it's already there.
Perfect. All right. The self-imposed rejection of that life-sustaining energy, has that been cleared?
Removed.
Good. And I'd like you to also see another screen come up, and on this screen I'd like you to leave behind the sensation of that physical body withering away into nothing because of the lack of energy, the lack of connection. Leave that all behind.
And add the lack of will to live in that.
Yeah, lack of will to live, yeah.
That'll connect to the kidneys.
Ah. All right.
Okay.
Good. I have another one that I'd like you to go through, and on another screen that I'd like you to go through before moving into the light. And on this one, I'd like you to leave behind the belief that being connected means destroying things.
Okay.
All right. Now, you said you were aware of the purpose of that lifetime.
Yes.
Can you share that?
I chose to incarnate in that lifetime to experience the loss of a family member and to learn how to process that.
Okay. Was that the sole purpose of that lifetime?
Yes. It wasn't meant to be a long life.
Right. Okay. All right. Is there any forgiveness or goodbyes that you need to say before we move into the light?
It's already been done.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes. I couldn't start the process until I did that.
Okay. All right. So when you're ready, I invite you to move into that beautiful light, that warm, beautiful pink, golden light. Surround yourself with it. Allow it to move through you and to heal you. Maybe add a little extra into the kidneys. And is there any information or message that you receive while you're in the light?
Just sitting with all those souls.
Yeah.
In a joyous, kind of loving manner.
Mm-hmm. What was the reason for experiencing that lifetime today, right now, tonight? Obviously to gain your power back. Well, what else?
To let go of the reoccurring prop. To stop holding on to things.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Holding on to things too tightly.
Yeah.
Being attached to things.
Mm-hmm.
Takes you out of the ebb and flow of life and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
In the physical incarnation, you get very stuck.
Yes.
So releasing that will help move that energy through.
Okay.
To understand the purpose of change. And the ebb and flow of what's to come.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes harder from a human point of view.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Is there any advice that you would give from your perspective there? General advice for those listening and watching.
Holding on to things doesn't prevent change. It only stalls the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Is there anything else?
No.
All right. Are you ready to come back?
Yes.
All right. So I invite you back to come back to here, back to now, back to this timeline, back to this incarnation. Back to this moment, back to this space. Bringing all that with you. Like reconnecting with your power, with the elements. Having let go of so much. Bringing all of that back with you. Remembering your ability to connect with those elements as well as that younger version of you in that lifetime. Bringing all that wisdom with you. And so in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 up to 5. And when I reach 5, you'll be fully aware and fully emerged. 1. Back in your physical self, back in the room. Your awareness and your energy returned to your physical space. 2. Perhaps noticing the sensation, the physical sensations now, the chair beneath you, the temperature of the air around you, the air flowing through your lungs, the energy beginning to flow through your body. 3, knowing how absolutely amazing you are, how perfect you are. All of your bodies back in alignment. Your physical body, your vibrational body, your energetic body, your emotional body. What's the other one? I'm missing one.
Mental body.
Mental body. All back in alignment. All perfect. 4, your eyes are bright and sparkling and clear. So if you bathe them in a cool brook, and your mind, wow, is, wide open and ready. And 5, when you're ready, you go ahead and open your eyes, moving around. Wow. Yeah, I get it. I know what you mean.
So that was interesting, because when I renegotiated that part, I actually went through the womb and came forward.
Oh.
So all of that energy that I had been centered with in this life had shifted. So it was watching that entire timeline shift as I came back into this body.
Yeah, I should have explained that Jenn has the ability, as she's going through, to, if we're working with parts, she's doing all this work behind the scenes that I typically, and in the end, I'm like, have you done this? Have you done that? Yep. Okay, all right then. I really don't have to do a whole lot, because Jenn's doing it all behind the scenes.
But for you understand what needs to be done. So when you're in that space, the clarity of it is so acute that to multitask is quite simple. It's not even multitasking. It's just like all these versions of events are taking place at once. As you go through the main part of the screen, the sub-screens are walking with you. Mm-hmm. So, and like coming through the womb, because this incarnation had been so trenched, and I'm going to explain this in that the reoccurring habits and themes of the innocence, and which I honestly did not see until I came back into the now. Like I didn't actually see that as I was coming through. So let me preface that. Like I don't think I could have put this together. And when I was trying not to tap into this, I didn't see all this. I only saw the point where I scared myself with my gifts when I was 16 years old, which was kind of funny on the age line. I scared myself, like never wanted to tap into that ever again. And then, but the innocent part definitely related to some of my childhood trauma that I experienced that I had never even thought about coming back. So when I went through that first screen, that little girl was hugging me, and I got to tear up even talking about it, and telling me that it was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's amazing about these sessions is how, even though, when you're hearing it, it doesn't necessarily, as an outsider, it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't, you don't recognize how it connects us to, or connects the client into different aspects of their lives until afterwards, until you get this kind of conversation.
And so like that part of innocence that was basically filling my heart, and that's why I just needed a moment. And when you go through these sessions, being able to communicate that with the person that you're working with is really important, and knowing that you can communicate that because you have the capacity to communicate that. There's nothing stopping you from communicating that. And giving yourself and allowing yourself that time to rest in that moment, to absorb that moment, and to allow that moment to show itself. And that's why I just was I put my finger up, and I know it's not meant to be rude or anything, but because when I get trapped in the emotion, I don't speak. I just kind of have that signal, and Jenn knows this because we've done this a couple of times before, and that's just my ability, like my acknowledgement that I just need to slow that process down and be there for a moment, so that you have the power to do all of these amazing things while you're in this state. So, and you know exactly what you need. Yeah. And to be able to do that without, I wasn't thinking about, in that moment, whether or not that was going to bother Jenn or not. Like it really wasn't. It was just, how to give yourself what you need, and you have that voice and that connection to do so. So just thought I'd explain that part, because I was like not thinking about it at the time, and now that I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, I totally did. Like, 1 moment, please. So that was, yes. So
yeah, so tell me about the part spaces. What happened with spaces?
Spaces reintegrated into just being a space of allowance, and to be in the ebb and flow of things, and to understand that we don't always know the different, like what the plan is, and to step back and be in a responsive space versus a reactive emotional space, and not react from emotion, but react from that observer witness kind of perspective.
Okay.
So that was, and coming through, the womb, that was kind of reintegrated, that vibration, that knowledge, that knowing. Once I knew the purpose of the life, really that in itself was what healed the life.
Yeah.
Knowing that I chose that to experience that, because as a soul, I wanted that knowledge. That understanding actually came fairly quickly through the screens. So I almost blurted it out, and then I'm like, oh no, I know she's going to ask me at some point, so I'll just hold on to it. But I already knew, and the emotional connection after that was very different for me. It wasn't as intense. So it was just simply understanding that I chose that life, and with that understanding, I chose the outcome of that life, and and it just kind of smoothed out. And that's when the rest of those souls that were a part of that life actually stepped forward and were on the sides of every screen and met me in the light, just to celebrate the process, because apparently all of them have moved on except for me. So moving on. And the fact that, the understanding of the 2 other souls that, the soul that played the role of my father in that life, and his counterpart who ended his life, that was their karma. I was never actually supposed to interact with the balance of that and the agreement there, but I took it on in that moment. And so just the understanding of that conversation that was happening, not in the background, but in the forefront as we were moving through the screens, just really kind of shifted where that life sits in my energetic being. So yeah.
In a typical part session, regardless of what lifetime we end up in, we would typically go back to that part and talk about the changes. That's one thing with Jenn, is that, like I said, it happens behind the scenes. She's always way ahead of me. By the time I ask these questions, like, no, done. We're good.
I was trying to pause. I was like, no, we'll get there. I'm like, oh no, we're gonna do this right now.
Yeah.
So, and you will find that, like, that can be like, we all work differently, and it's all really unique. And this is one of the beautiful things about this process, is this is a client-based process that is unique to you and you alone. And your process will be very different than anybody else in the world. And that's one of the, most impactful parts of this, I believe, in my experiences. We all go through it in our own tone, in our own way, and that's what makes it healing for ourselves in that aspect. So thank you. So that was the Oompa Loompa. That's the elephant in the room. That's what a session could potentially, roughly look like. And for those of you who have never experienced that, or had that curiosity of what it really is, it's, we just wanted to give you that. We wanted to share this with you. It's not scary, even though you can see, even though in the moment there are a lot of emotions, but when you come out of that process, those emotions are not heavy. It's very light. It's very like this freedom. And so even in the moment, like once I was through that first screen, those emotions, the intensity of them wasn't there, because the process had been completed. So that's the other thing is, yes, you may have tears. Yes, it is not going to interrupt your process.
And the client, you in this case, obviously, knows what is needed, knows what you need. What else do you want to leave behind? What else do you want to activate? What else do you want to bring forward? Those are important questions that we ask our clients, because we don't know it all. We can guess to a certain degree. I had a list of things that I wanted her to clear because it just made sense. But then there were other things that I might not have made the connection with. And
And there's times where we don't even talk about it. We're just like, I'm going to go through a couple screens here, and that's fine. That, as you guys can see, that right is very much your own. So you are very much in control of this process. Yes, you're sifting through your filing cabinet of your subconscious mind and your soul history, but you are very much in charge. So,
yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. Anything else do you want to add?
I like Alex's comment. Perfect explanation.
You're right. Yep. Now we've explained the process, and my hope for this was that that you guys got, if you have fear around this process, that maybe some of that fear could be lessened, so that if it's restricting you, preventing you from taking that leap and trying hypnotherapy, that this may kind of take some of the boogie monster out of the process for you.
And how do you feel, Jen?
I'm actually kind of blown away with the connections into this incarnation, but it makes so much sense. And I feel like it'll be very interesting over the coming days to see how this all reintegrates. And I know this is a bit of a process that we all have, the layers, the emotional, vibrational, and mental side is very much shifted. It'll be interesting to see how my physical body responds as we were working through. I could actually feel that energy in my kidneys.
Yeah.
And so I'm very. One thing that was interesting to me is a couple of days ago I channeled. Actually, maybe more than a couple of days. It might have been 2 weeks ago, that the energy that flows through the kidneys, that is attached to the kidneys, at least in my case, is the will to live. So it was very interesting that came up. I didn't think it was coming up in this. I actually thought it was going to come up somewhere else, but apparently I was wrong. That doesn't happen often. So very interesting, but that pressure in my kidneys is totally relieved now. So it'll be very interesting to see how that we'll get some blood work on that one to see. So no, I feel good. I feel like clear. And actually looking back at things, it's almost I'm not attached to it. Like I've mentally gone back into some of my, things that I knew were connected to this just by when we first talked about it, it flashed in my head, and there's this very neutral space, which is exactly where I want to be with that. So even looking back when I was 16 and scared the shit out of myself, I'm okay with that now. I understand it.
Yeah. That's
awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me be part of this journey with you.
Absolutely. So everyone, that's the process. That's if you have questions, please feel free to contact Jen and I. Love to answer them. If there's anything about the process that you feel like, you may have some resistance or hesitation around, reach out. Send us a private message. We will answer them. We can answer them openly, or we can answer them privately. And we can help you perhaps choose, or help kind of take the cloud of myth away. So thank you for joining us.
And I think, it's not all death and destruction caused.
No, sometimes,
It's so,
seems to.
Yeah. It doesn't, it's not always as big as that,
Sometimes it's something very simple, something like a thought, or, an idea that you had in a life that it sunk in, it anchored itself in, and you've carried it forward. So it's very it's not always,
it's sometimes just an offhand comment that somebody made in your hearing when you were a child, and it stuck to you. So it's anyway.
And sometimes there's no real deep emotion where you're really you feel them, but you're not expressing them. So it's like I said, it's unique for everybody. So remember that when you're doing this, your session won't be like my session, and my session won't be like your session, but you will have the power to create these amazing positive change and lift some of the burdens and the patterns and the heaviness and the negativity that you may have been struggling with, or the sabotage, or anything keeping you out of balance from your true core self. So, All right. Any last words for everybody, Jen?
Oh, good grief. I know that you're going to do this.
I know, right? Come on, I'm still mean. Now I just have a little more pizzazz to it.
Oh, gee. I don't know. holding on to things doesn't prevent change. It only stalls the beauty of it.
It's very true. Very true.
That was your message. That was your message.
Was it?
Just want to reiterate that. Yeah.
I've never even thought about that change, but great. Yeah, good job, higher self. Hello, Purple Princess.
There you are.
So thank you for coming tonight. The replay will be up. Like I said, this live, this hasn't been pre-recorded, so this is what a real one-on-one session can look like, or the parts of it. So love you guys' face. I will see you guys Friday. Jenn, thank you for being here as always.
Thank you.
And we will be back with more Hypnosis Shop Talk coming up sooner than later. So if you guys have more questions or want more information about hypnosis and hypnotherapy, please let us know. And I hope that you have a wonderful couple days, and I'll see you guys Friday. All right, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Choo, choo, choo.